Hello, everyone. My name is Amir Attia. I'm an assistant professor of communication design, specifically in graphic design at the School of Computing Design at CSU Monterey Bay. So at CSUMB, I teach a number of classes, including web graphic design, visual thinking, portfolio development, or educating the students to be professional visual designer or specifically interface designer, where they create websites, they create app designs, they create any screen-based design or interface. But aside to this, I am a graphic designer myself. So I do a design for companies, organizations. My task is to create nice looking design. So I have a briefs from those companies where they have like a problem. And this problem, I look at it and try to find solutions for it. And of course, all of those problems are communication related problems. So for example, a company have a product and they want to promote this product to a certain customers or users. So they hire me to create them like a poster design, a brochure, a flyer. It could be even like just a business card or a logo design just to create like an identity for the company. It could also be something like creating a web design. My role is the visual design, so to create the look and feel of the website that include colors, include typography, include overall visual look of the website. And then this will be later handed to a developer to make this work as a website or as an app. So through my experience in the industry since 1995, and up to the date, I have been a designer. And aside to this, I have been also a teacher, so teaching in a bunch of schools. And the last one is CSUMB here. So I invest my experience to teach what I know or what I do to the students, preparing them to be also graphic designers or visual designers. So I didn't really plan to be a designer, and I didn't really have this in my mind at all. I loved photography and I wanted to be a photographer with National Geography. But when I was applying to school, and that wasn't in the US, that was actually abroad, that was in Egypt, I wanted to get into cinema and or movie making and photography. And then in the department, there was lots of things that I didn't really wanted to get into. So the other major was graphic design, and I decided, okay, let me get into graphic design. I didn't really know what was graphic design about when I get into that field. Didn't really get a clue what is that. So I entered to graphic design, and with the first couple of projects that I got, I still didn't have any clue of what I required to do or what should I be doing. But with the submission of the first project that I didn't have any clue what I wanted to do, the very naive designs that I created was well appraised from the professor. That astonished me, and was that me? So actually that motivated me a lot to like the field, not to get into the field. I was still interested in photography, so I just wanted to get a degree and then run to Africa, work with National Geography. But after a while, like with the third semester at school, I felt in love, and literally in love with design, and I felt the impact of design. You're actually like a doctor, like an engineer, your impact is really obvious in whatever you do. You can help in promoting a brand, increasing its sales, motivating people to do a specific behavior or avoid a specific behavior. You have a big impact. And believe me, when you understand the scope of design, you will value how vast it is. Design is literally in everything, anything and everything. So a product with no design, it's no one will be able to reach it. Look at your toothbrush. When you wake up, you will find there is a logo. This toothbrush definitely have been in a package or have been in a container. This container have some information. This is the work of a graphic designer. Look at the car that you will be in going to work or going to school. There will be a brand, there will be like a sign that tells you that you can open or press on that knob, or this is like a emergency signal. All of those signs, icons, designs, labels, stickers, packages, brochures, flyers, billboards, websites, apps, interfaces, all of this is a work of a design. So literally, graphic design or communication design is part of everything. So once you understand the scope and you feel the value of what you're doing, I think this will be very motivating and rewarding at the same time. I graduated with a Bachelor of Graphic Design slash advertisement. And this actually qualifies you to be a graphic designer. But I pursued my master's in psychology, and the objective was try to understand or increase my awareness of how to create designs that are able to influence people more by understanding how they behave, how they interact with what I do. Then later on, because I loved the field and I was very passionate, so I wanted to look at the field from different perspectives. So I gained my PhD in integrated marketing communication, which is basically the business and the marketing aspect of the design. So it's the non-design aspect of the process of designing, where you are looking at it from a business aspect or from a communication or pure communication aspect. If you want to be a graphic designer, first of all, you need to have a little bit of talent. So you like drawing or painting or illustrating or any kind of art, this will be good as a start. Then secondly, have passion to communication design. So you like to communicate with people, but in that case, you don't actually communicate physically, but you create mediums that communicate. And then, of course, you need to go to a school where you study and improve your awareness of design principles, your knowledge of color theory, of typography, of layout, of interface design, what is graphic design in general. So the more you understand all of those aspects, you are ready to become like a graphic designer, or you could even be a photographer or user interface designer, UI. So yeah, there's a wide scope of design jobs within the field of graphic design. You could be within an organization, or you could be a freelancer, like what I do at the moment after working for a long time with agencies. So, what I do, or what is my daily routine? I will split this into two aspects. The first aspect is my daily routine as a teacher. So, as a teacher, definitely I will have classes to teach. And to teach those classes, I have to prepare syllabus, I have to prepare materials, I have to prepare assignments, I have to grade assignments later on when the student submits them. I have to attend a lots of meetings within the department, within the university in a bigger scope to take some decisions. Some of them are related to students, some of them are related to the department itself, some of them are related to the marketing of the department. So there's lots of activities. There is also a portion where I am required as a professor to do my own research. And my area of research that I'm focused on is the intersection between visual design and technology. So I'm really interested in the future of autonomous cars, and I'm looking at how would visual design impact this field or industry. And in a very simple bullet point, I would say, how would the road signs look when in the future when all the cars are autonomous? What will the functionalities of the signs? This is one side of my work. The second aspect is me as a graphic designer. And in this area also, I will split it into two. So one of them was when I worked in an advertisement agency. So I have to be at the company or at the agency in the morning. There is no specific time. Usually art and design people are a bit flexible in their timing as long as you're doing your work. So I usually go at, let's say, 9:30. I have like a brief, and a brief is a summary of information of what clients want from me to design. Go through this brief carefully. Usually it's done by a marketing person, either from the organization itself or from our agency, and then start doing sketching. Then after sketching, brainstorm with my colleagues or colleagues designers and marketing team to select and figure out the best idea or ideas. Some of them are mine, and of course, some of them are other designers' work. So we critique each other, then get back to the board, improve them. Then all of this is just hand drawing sketches. Then we again get back, meet. It doesn't have to be in the same day, it could be after a couple of days or next day to brainstorm or see what everyone have came up with. And then once we have like a clear idea, we'll select like the best 2 or 3 designs and start implementing them using a software, depending on the nature of the design. So if it's a brochure, I'll be definitely using a vector software like Adobe InDesign. If I'm doing a logo, so I'll be using a vector software like Adobe Illustrator or Corel Draw. If I'm doing any kind of image editing, I'll be using something like Photoshop or Painter. Any kind of software be best used for this specific medium. Once we're done, this will be the first draft that will go to the client, and then the client will give their feedback. Sometimes you're lucky and it will get approved with no any suggestions or some minor changes, which is many of the times there will be lots of comments or lots of tweaks that you need to make to the extent of doing a totally new design. And once you have this, you will get like a clear idea or clearer idea of what the client need, and then you'll get back to your either your sketching board or your software and start doing a second round of design. And the process will keep going like that till you get the approval. Once your approval, you will just forward these files to either like a production designer who will go over the file, make sure that the file is ready for printing, make sure that, for example, if it's print medium like a poster, he or she will make sure that the images are all in the right color mood, like CMYK mood for printing, typography is set correctly, margins, things like that to prepare the file for printing. If it's for on screen, usually it's less complicated. Once you're done, your job is completed. You just create like a backup of your files, and this will be what you will be doing regularly. So you don't have like a specific tasks to do like on a day-to-day basis, but projects would usually take a longer duration. There are projects that will take months. There will be projects that could take a year or a little bit more than a year. If you're doing a new website design or a redesign, that could take a longer time. Not all in the arena of the designer, but a part of it will be the user experience research or marketing research. And then there will be some conclusions that will be forwarded to the designer to start doing the design. But usually, you as a designer will be always in a team, so you're involved in the entire process. However, you are not working through the entire duration, but you're involved in some way. An interesting project that I have worked on or participated in, and actually it wasn't meant for me, but for my students, was creating watch faces for Fitbit. So Fitbit is like a digital watch. Watch face is for the digital watches that you carry in your hand. But since they are digital, there is a lot of different interface designs. Some of them are cool, some of them with animation, some of them are static, dynamic, so things like that. So the project was to design for them a number of those interfaces, and they actually contracted a number of students in my web design class to do this as a collaboration between the industry and the emerging graphic designers, in which the students can create like an interactive prototype but without having to go into any coding or development. So they can make a simple animation. If you clicked or you tapped or this, it will take you to another screen, or it will behave in a certain way. Like, for example, if you tapped on the number will become bigger or things like that. So they can create this, but without having to go into any coding or development phase. And that was really exciting project because it was a very interesting experience for the students and for myself. So you are limited with a very narrow parameters, like you're limited to a specific size. You need to have good contrast in colors, but yet still beautiful. You need to maintain the readability of the components, or especially the text. If you want to know the date, if you want to know, if you want to read your text, because those watches allow you to read your text messages. So there's lots of parameters, but still you are working in a very narrow space. So that was a big challenge for the students and for myself. So I never did something like that. So in my over 20 years of experience, so that was like a new thing for me to learn. And actually, the students did very, very well, and they were, I mean, the designers team at Fitbit, they were amazed with the students' work and creativity. So this was the most recent project that I'm really happy with. And the reason I'm happy with is because I said it's new for me, but at the same time, I was really excited to work alongside my students and see them utilizing the theories that we're talking about in the class in the real world, which is the real fun. Another project that I personally worked in as a freelance designer is creating a series of takeout menus for a small restaurant chain at San Francisco. So, with COVID and people not being able to sit down in restaurants, so we need to come up with idea of creating like low cost prints for the people to be able to access the menu of the restaurant and be able also to order easily without having to type in the website and enter a lot of details. And in that case, we utilize the barcode. So I worked with restaurant owner and marketing person to create or convert their online menu into a printed menu that will be handed out to people to increase awareness and to attract more people to purchase or to use their restaurant services. And we use the barcodes in the menu, or in the backside of the menu there will be a barcode where you just scan it with your mobile device, and it will give you all the menu where you can select and just make your order instantly. So the amount of menus that was printed was huge, and they were distributed in a specific places because the marketing person at the restaurant was aware of the exact segment of people or their target group, so they know where exactly to reach them, which is an important part of the communication process. So you do not just design and print and that's it. No, you need to be very specific about who are you approaching or who do you want to communicate, and what would be the best medium or material that you should do in order for you to communicate with them successfully. So the results of those menus that we created was significant. There was increase in the percentage of the orders. And I think according to the marketing person, it was over 27%, which is huge over a couple of months. And imagine in a situation like COVID, where people are very, like worried, they don't want to go to restaurants. So many restaurants were having trouble. But having this online ordering system for a small chain of restaurants, just three restaurants where they cannot really afford big budget of ads and commercials and printing, it was low budget. But with this low budget, I, among the team, was able to support them, create that visual that attract the people, provide them with clear information about the menu, and of course utilize the technology of QR code to allow people to easily navigate the menu and order. So that was one of the nice projects that I am happy with. Any designer, first of all, should have a little bit of a talent. Like they can illustrate, they can draw, they can photograph. It doesn't have to be like a Picasso style or a Rembrandt style painting. No, it's not that, but just be able to communicate your ideas with doodling or sketching. It doesn't have to be high fidelity or super nice, cool drawing. No, it could be very simple, but you are able to doodle or sketch. At the same time, you like doing this. So because you will be like, first thing you do in design is sketching. Even when you're doing an interface design, first thing you do is do a sketch of the layout. Where will you have an image? Where will you have a type? And all of those are just like scratches on a paper. So this is one important skill or talent you must have. Then second, which is important, is the software skill. And this is something that you learn as you go. Software depends on the nature or the field that you want to work on or you're most interested in. So if, for example, you like advertisement and print design, definitely you will need to know vector software like Adobe Illustrator, bitmap software to deal or treat images like Adobe Photoshop, layout or multi-page layout like InDesign, or publishing software like InDesign to create like a magazine, a multi-page brochure, catalog, things like that. If you want to be in the field of motion graphics, like animated text, like title sequences of movies, CNN logo promoting a program or something like that. So this is called motion graphics. So in that case, you will definitely still need use Illustrator, still need Photoshop, but you do not need InDesign. You will need a different software, which is Adobe Premiere for movie editing, and also Adobe After Effects for creating those motion and animations. So this is another field. If you want to be user interface designer, like creating apps, web interfaces, so definitely you still need Illustrator and Photoshop, but you don't need InDesign or Adobe Premiere or After Effects, but you'll need like a prototyping software like Adobe XD to make interactive prototype. You will definitely need Adobe Animate to create like mini animations. Let's say like a logo will turn or move or something like that. So it depends on the field that you are focusing on. You will gear your software skills. But in general, most designers will have knowledge of many software, but they will be professional in few of them. So for example, if you ask me what is the software that I'm most comfortable with, I'll tell you four. Even though I know more than 10, but still I'll say only four. Those are the ones that I'm very professional in. I have good command on the tools and navigating in the software to be able to achieve my idea or my sketches, turn them into real good high fidelity design. And I will say for myself, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe InDesign, Adobe XD, and Adobe After Effects. Other than that, I will say I just have some knowledge about them. Also for me, and I believe that this is important for any designer, is photography. Being able to take photographs will be good for you as a designer, because in some situations you may need to have the input. So maybe you'll have a product, but you don't have a good photo of it. And this happens a lot with startups and small companies. They have good product, but they have very bad photos. So you as a designer have your own perspective of how this product could be taken. For example, if they want to say that this product is bigger than any product in the market. So in that case, maybe taking it with a wide angle from a different perspective that gives the impression that this package or this product is big. The client will not be able to provide you with this, but your vision as a designer and your experience as a designer will allow you to take the right photos. So this is some of these skills. But the most important thing that you need to have is passion. If you really have the passion to be a designer, you will not only be a good designer, but you will be very happy designer. You will enjoy every second. You will enjoy the challenges. You will enjoy seeing your designs like seen by not thousands, but maybe millions of people. You'll be able to see the impact of your design in the improvement of company sales or users visiting website or users using a specific app. Believe me, I have been in this for over 25 years, and with every design I see, I really enjoy the impact of this design. So the challenges of the job is, as a teacher, the challenges is that not all the students in the class are really interested in the subject matter. And my role as a teacher is not only to teach them the course, but explain to them how this course is useful for them. Some of those students may not be majoring in graphic design, but they are taking this course as a requirement. So I will try to emphasize for them how they can make use of this course to improve how they present their work, to make it better, to make it more interesting for the people. So this is one big challenge that I face in classes. In the industry, one of the challenges is that you need to continue learning. Like with every new project, you need to start all over again. So today you have a brochure for a nonprofit organization working in the ag field. So you need to understand what is agriculture, what are they doing, what are their objectives, what is their mission, what are the technologies that they are using, which you have no any idea about it. So you need to learn, and you need to learn fast. You need to understand. You need to be very, very careful and considerate to any word you hear from the client, because those words could be key aspects in your design that could make your design better. Another challenge is due dates. So there will be a lot of projects that will be very tight in time. So you will have, in many situations, you'll have a client that will come to you today and they actually need the design yesterday. So you need to be very sharp, very prepared, and ready to work fast, multitasking. So you are working in multiple projects with different fields at simultaneously, which is a big challenge with every project. But you need to do visual research, see what are the design trends, what are similar projects or similar designs for what you're about to do, to see what other designers did, and then start to create something new that should be different, that should be more creative, that should be well tailored or well fitting for your client, to attract their clients, or at least achieve the objective of the communication. What is my favorite or interesting part of the job? That's a hard question because, like I said, if you have passion, you will like it all. So I would say that I'm really interested and love the entire process, starting from understanding the problem, defining the problem, and then starting finding design solutions for the problem. But in general, the production part is really important within the printing field. So you can have like a great design on the screen, but when it gets printed, it becomes like bad, or it doesn't really look as it looked on the screen. So this is the most interesting and critical part for me. To overcome this fear and understand the process, I actually worked in a print shop for about 2 years to understand the production process, to understand some of the technical issues that I need to be aware of and avoid or make sure that the design is good. So right now, this is the most interesting part for me. And the reason is the techniques that you can add in printing. So there is lots of techniques. You can make the paper glossy or matte or semi-glossy. So things like that, you can add different color foils, lots and lots and lots of techniques that actually make the design not only look good, but valuable. Like there will be those postcards or those prints that anyone would like to keep them. There will be a lot where you'll just read them, throw them away, but there will always be that postcard or that print that you'd like to keep. And this is what I really like, to look at the production techniques and add some of them if possible, because they are, of course, costly, add some of them or advise my client to add them in the design, which will add lots of values to it. My advice for the students is you need to dig and search for yourself about what would make you happy, what kind of job, what kind of field. Do you want to be a doctor? Just maybe shadow a doctor. Would you like to be a designer? Probably shadow a designer. Understand the process. Understand there are some good times and bad times in any field, at any work. So you need to be prepared to take the good and the bad. Think, would I like to be doing this through the rest of my life or not? This is one thing. The second thing is get prepared. And how would I get prepared? By knowing what does this field require. So if it require me to have like a good sense of illustration and drawing, I'm not telling you that if you can draw, you can be a designer. No, if you can draw, try to practice to know how to draw or know how to illustrate. It just some practice. It needs some persistence, lots of paper, lots of pencil, and just start working on it. And believe me, you can learn. If you are interested in being in the field of visual communication or design, something like that, you have a very important tool that you need to use, which are your eyes. Those are the most important tool. Train your eye to see things, not look at things, just see things in a critical way. So you like a poster or you like a website. So yes, there is definitely a reason of why do you like it or why you prefer using this website or seeing this poster. Start using your eye and your brain to criticize this. Why do I like it? Is it about the colors? Is it about the layout? Is it about the content? Is it about the structure? Is it about that there is an easy eye flow? There is like clear titles, there are subtitles, there is body text. What is it? So the more you ask yourself those questions, this is how critical thinking is. I know some people who didn't know even how to put a pencil on a paper, and they became very good designers. It's all about the will, it's all about the passion. If you really love something, you can do it. So you need to search or dig inside yourself. And the second thing is research. Understand what does this people do, or what does the designer do, or what does the engineer, like electrical engineer, does. And then based on this, you will try to connect it with your passion or what you like. And does this field really meet with what I like or not? If you need to achieve something, believe me, you can do it.